Once upon a time, 3 writers helped crack open the indie publishing world. Then they rode into the sunset, building bigger stories, taking bigger swings, and learning what actually lasts when the noise dies down. Now the band is back together, older, sharper, and uninterested in shortcuts. This is the Smarter Artist Show with Sean Platt, Johnny B. Truant, and David W. Wright. It's the same 3 voices you know talking about the craft and commerce of storytelling, from the work they're creating to the TV shows and movies they can't stop thinking about. Shop talk for artists playing the long game in a creative world that never slows down. If you've been here since the early days, welcome back. If you're new, pull up a chair. You're listening to the Smarter Artist Show. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Smarter Artist Show, episode 19. Your characters are assets. Are you treating them that way? I'm David Wright. This is Sean Platt.
He keeps his characters in the basement.
And Johnny B. Truant, who is with us on a rare appearance and before a few more absences.
Yeah,
he's touring the world.
Johnny started the day by telling you, just so you guys know, I'm fucking off the next 2 weeks.
I don't like you guys to be surprised. I only do that in person. Just don't show up.
Johnny, are you globetrotting? Are you it's not volleyball, it's
I actually just literally joined the Harlem Globetrotters. It's funny that you guessed. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody.
Oh, that's amazing. I thought you were trying out for Savannah Bananas. Did that not happen?
They said I was too zany.
That's amazing.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait like 30 years and apply to be in the Banana Nanas.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you auditioned with your banana out, and that's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Do you take your banana when you go to volleyball games?
Do you remember that resolution to talk about what the episode was right away? This is perfect.
Yeah, actually, Dave was like, we need to get started right with the episode and tell
I introduced what the title was.
Do it again, and I'll make the ticking sounds for 60 minutes. Okay, go, Dave. Do the same thing you did before.
And I forget that there was a YouTube commenter a few weeks back who was like, can you assholes please stop talking over each other? Are we going to be able to stop talking over each other?
All respect to that commenter. No. Because Daddy says.
It is very much on brand. So, Dave, how do you treat your characters? Do you keep them in the basement, or how do you abuse your characters?
I keep them in the basement where they provide all of the bad ideas that go into our stories.
Oh, and if they give good ideas, do you let them out? Do you give them a cookie?
No. No. Like, you know how my gift is making things worse? That actually comes from that comes from them. I say, how can this torture be worse?
Yeah, you know how like sometimes people will hire script doctors to punch up a script? They hire Dave to punch it down.
They hire me to punch the characters.
And Dave, this is not a superpower that's exclusive to. Your superpower is making things worse, but that's not just in stories. That's in life too, right?
Well, I mean, I may as well lean on my talent.
Do you have something cool for this week?
I do have something cool. My something cool this week is maximum pleasure guaranteed, which sounds like something you'd see on a condom.
Wait a minute.
Hold on, just the concept of it?
What algorithm are you on?
Then I'm going to throw my head in for lust.
Ribbed for her pleasure.
So maximum pleasure guaranteed. This does sound like clickbait.
No, you don't know it. It's a new Apple TV show with Tatiana Maslany from Orphan Black.
No,
and She-Hulk, but we don't talk about She-Hulk.
I actually don't know about.
Did you ever watch Orphan Black?
Yes, I did.
Okay, because she's phenomenal in that. It's a new Apple show. It's a comedy thriller. They seem to be really nailing that specific genre. She plays a divorced woman I think something happened. They don't really talk about it in the best of ways, lend to the mystery. But she's trying to get her daughter back with her more often. Her husband and her are separating. Her husband's playing the fuck off to the other side of the country. He's remarried. So now she works at a newspaper. She's like a fact checker. I don't know if she does anything beyond that. But in the beginning, she's having sex with a cam guy. She's basically so lonely she's become friends with a cam guy and like one exclusive guy, and she's always like talking to him and tipping him and all that shit. So then he gets kidnapped and somebody's like demanding money from her, and she goes to the police and they say it's probably a scam. So she decides, because she's like, just everything's falling apart around her, she decides to go investigate for herself. And I won't say what happens, but it gets deeper and deeper into the shit. It's pretty good so far.
That sounds good. What's I mean, and I like Apple TV. Like I just surprised haven't heard about this one.
It literally just came out last night.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll wait until there's more episodes.
There's 2 episodes. I think there will be 10 total.
Yeah, I started on Margot Needs Money, or I forget what it's exactly called, but I saw a few episodes of that, and I'm like, oh my God, there's no more episodes. Why did I start? Why did I make this mistake? Right now, we're going in between Hacks, which I think is in its final season. I don't think there'll be a 6th
It has
season.
to be. How can it not?
Yeah, it feels like the arcs are complete, but we watched all of the episodes again. So we just started season 5, episode 1 yesterday after watching the first 4 again. And yeah, I love that show. And then so we're watching The Pit is our first show, but you can only do Pit in like very small doses. So then we moved to Hacks.
Oh, you don't marathon that? You don't want a full day of hell? What?
No, like that show is completely like fueled by grief and adrenaline. And
I've not watched it.
Sign me up.
Have you seen it, Johnny?
No.
No, but you just unsold me. A show that's about grief? Oh, yeah.
Well,
It's Veterinary Hospital.
yeah. Dave, have you seen The Pit?
No, not yet. I will.
Totally seems like your jam.
Pit. Okay, so because I wasn't connecting it, there was a show called like The Gorge or something, and I was confused. So
That's a movie on Apple.
The Pit is the excuse that they just wanted to make ER again.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, I actually never
Hey,
watched
Noah
ER.
Wiley, be an ER doctor again.
ER was actually good in its prime. It wasn't as good as its competitor, Chicago Hope, that had Mandy Patinkin, who was awesome on that. But it was good.
I did hear that. I never watched either show. I'm not like actually a medical drama person at all, but The Pit just keeps getting so much love that I was like, oh, we'll try it. And it's really good. It's really, really good.
I'm not into medical dramas. Medical dramas and crime dramas, I'm not into it.
Yeah, I love how much happens. Well, you know what sold me on it? I didn't know that.
Noah Wiley?
No. Although I think he's fantastic in it. I mean, he's really, really good. But what sold me on the show, I knew it was really good, but I didn't care enough to watch it. There's plenty of stuff to watch. It was that I heard that the whole entire season takes place in one day. And I love that. Like, okay, so every episode's an hour and you're really like living a day.
Hey, that sounds
They
like
should do that. They've never done that before.
Like Dave and I had 12, which kind of, is like that
half of 24.
24. Yeah. So I like that premise, and I thought that in that kind of environment, it would be really cool. But I thought
that's another thing Hollywood ripped off of me. 12. 24 wasn't a thing when I did that.
About time
That's
Hollywood
When I came up with the idea.
Oh, well, okay, Dave. That's not how ideas work.
They're inceptioning me. Hollywood is inceptioning me with their space lasers.
You should start wearing a tinfoil hat. And I mean on this show, out in public. How many people in rural Florida already have tinfoil hats that they just wear out in public?
Well, you never wear it out in public.
Oh, it's only in private?
It's only for indoors, because if other people see that you have a tinfoil hat, they'll find alternate ways to get to you.
Yeah, you got to do the tinfoil toupee.
How do you
have a
decoy
decoy
in public then?
Decoy tinfoil hat.
How do you protect yourself in public?
Cowboy hats lined with tinfoil.
Oh,
again.
Okay.
Or
Foil
a trucker
toupee. Come on, guys.
Or a John Deere hat, which automatically, you might not know this, John Deere hats actually have tinfoil already in them.
I did know that, actually.
That makes sense.
The ones that say cat.
There's a sponsor we just lost.
Johnny, do you have something cool?
Mine's something that only I and the coolest people in Houston care about, including Damon Courtney, who's in that area. I'm doing Comicapalooza this weekend, and that should be fun. So I don't know that's kind of all that needs to be said about it. And it's not going to be cool for any of you unless you're in the Houston area, in which case it can also be cool for you.
Is that I actually got your email about that, and hilariously for one microsecond, like I was onto the other side of it very quickly. I thought it was actually a personal email to me.
No.
Because the subject line, I thought like you wanted to go do something in Houston or something. I forget what the subject line was, and looking at it, like completely, I was an idiot for thinking that. But I'm like, oh, Johnny wants to hang out in Houston. He's sending me an email.
And
Weirdly,
I'm
he
big
didn't
on
text
doing
him.
like clickbait sorts of subject lines too. I wouldn't text you for something like that. Actually,
Are
it was
you-
just to you. I just texted everybody. I just sent it to everybody.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Are you gonna wear a shirt that says "I hate comics and I hate you"?
Okay. So first of all, I should clear that I don't hate comics. But no, I always wear a shirt that says author, which is stupid. But the reason I do it is because I learned when I started doing these events that a really common thing is for somebody, I think it's less common at conventions, but it was more common at things that don't typically have books, is people would come up and they'd be looking and they'd be like, it would dawn on me, so, like after I'd been talking to them for a while, they've been looking, that they didn't realize that I was the author. So I got this board that has this picture of me and it says local author. And then I got a second one to put on the other side, and motherfuckers still come up and they're like, wait a minute, you wrote all these books? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to wear a shirt that says author, and still people don't get it.
What kind of shirt are you going to start wearing, Dave, so that people get the thing you need them to get?
Out of my fucking way.
That works.
I don't want to say it because I don't want to like inflame some people. I don't want to trigger anyone, but I've seen some people wearing some kind of crazy shirts out in public. I remember being at a Chipotle and this dude standing in line, and in huge white type on a black shirt, it said, somebody who I won't name is a word beginning with C that we don't want to use.
Wait, you
in
got
polite company.
to say more than that. Like
Somebody that people might be triggered, a certain religious figure who may have a heavenly father. That guy was.
Wow.
I'm just saying. I'm just reporting it.
Oh my.
Mhm.
Wow. That does
And I'm
seem
like,
a
I'm like, in a weird way, like, I mean, that seems incredibly poor taste, like beyond, but kind of like, well, look at the balls on you. Like, who would wear that out?
It is bold. I will acknowledge that.
Well, it is in
bold
Austin. You're not exactly.
No, this definitely wasn't in Austin. I don't remember where it was, but
Oh wow.
Mm-mm.
Anywhere else in Texas, that's a risk.
yeah.
Was it in Texas?
I don't remember, but it wasn't. It might have been back in Ohio, which also makes sense, but it wasn't.
Wow. I'm blown away by that story.
No, Austin would have said that he like didn't have a curly enough mustache or tight enough skinny jeans.
What's the hipster version of that same statement?
Well, that's what I was just saying. Like, his jeans weren't skinny enough.
So my something cool is it's AI forward, but it's actually specifically Claude forward, because I don't know that I would attempt this with any other AI right now, but I'm super comfortable with Claude. So I've been building little tiny apps for myself. And Dave, this is something I would suggest that maybe you try. So there's like, I mean, we've known each other for what, 17, 18 years now. And I've always been on this eternal quest, and so have you, for the perfect task management app, right? But nothing ever like quite works. And
I just hire now a guy in a gimp suit that like cracks a whip at me.
well, how does he have time to crack the whip with all the other things you have here? Is this a new gimp suit guy?
No. That's why I'm falling behind. He's kind of like busy.
Oh, dude, you have
Dave,
to.
do you want me to polish the dildos or crack the whip?
You have to prioritize.
You gotta pick a lane, Daddy.
That's never gonna
Hey,
go
Dave,
away.
that's what you could do for your shirt. Have you thought of it just a daddy shirt?
No, I have not.
I think you should. I think daddy's good. Johnny, do you know exactly what we're getting Dave for Christmas this year? I think it's not even like a
The
question.
daddy
right?
shirt.
And candied apples.
I hang
Daddy
out.
likes candy apples.
I hang out sometimes with David Vergoots, and I showed up at a coffee shop once, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and he had this ridiculous, enormous Magnum PI mustache, and he was wearing a tank top that said "Daddy," and I was like, "Respect."
Wait, was the mustache real or was he?
No, it was real. He just grew that shit, and I made fun of him for a while, and then it disappeared.
Oh wow.
Is he in porn?
I was just tipping all the. I was like, I had to go buy a hat so I could tip it to him.
So anyway, Dave, I think you seriously could do this. This is what I've done, because I haven't been able to find a task management, and especially as life gets more complicated and projects get more complicated and I have more and more collaborators, and it's like things isn't cutting it like it did in 2010. And so and hilariously, I always come back to things because it is very simple and it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but it's just like, oh man, I wish I could have a version of things that was like specifically designed for me. Well, folks, now you can. You can literally just talk to Claude and explain exactly what you need your project management tool to do, or your vacation planner, or your photo organizer, or your where does Dave live in Florida surveillance system app. Like, whatever your app is, you could just describe it. And the one that I'm using uses a couple of different like there's one place that like stores the data, and then another place that like hosts the app. And it sounds very complicated, but Claude was like, dude, don't be a baby, I'll walk you through it. And it did. And so now it's just like web apps that just live in an address, and you give it a custom URL. And it's been great because I now have a task management app that I can totally rely on, and I really love it. I use it every day. And I feel like, people listening to this, you, Dave, especially, staying organized can be really hard, and working on creative things can be like distracting. And there are so many apps out there. And so like maybe most people, for productivity, can find one off the shelf that just works perfectly for them, and that's fine. But if you haven't found that, then you really can build your own thing pretty quickly now, and have it be, work the way your brain works. And if it's not productivity app, if it's something else, if you can think of and this isn't a complicated app. I'm not saying like go build your own Airbnb, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. But if there's just something that does some repetitive thing that you would like, that there could be an app for, and you're like, I wish there was an app for that. Now there can be.
I want to start a rideshare app for angry people, and they all like carpool together.
I like this idea. So the reason I was snickering over here is because when you were talking about the apps and AI, I was thinking, I wonder if you could put the power of Now, by the way, just so I don't alarm you, Dave, this story, you don't need to be triggered by this story. Let me finish it. I was like, I wonder if the power of AI, if people could figure out where you live despite your intense focus on obscuring yourself or something. And so I quietly went to ChatGPT and asked it, and I was going to like let you know via text. I wouldn't have said it on the show. But it says that where you live in square quote location redacted.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So
That's
you
so
want
funny.
AI.
Dude, I was on a call with someone yesterday, and they came prepared for the call. This is the fucking freaky ass, weird ass future / present that we live in. So I get on this call, and the person is just like really like up to date on me and who I am. And I'm like, I'm a little suspicious of this. Like, okay, you know some things, and he just straight up confesses, oh yeah, I prepared for the call. I did a deep AI dive on you, and then after the call today, he actually sent me the deep dive, and this was like I don't think this was custom AI. I don't think it was like ChatGPT or Claude or anything. I think this is like some, industrial level, like enterprise AI that his whole company is using. And dude, it knew what kind of underwear I was wearing yesterday. Like, it was just so creepy to have this amount of information that can be just like pulled up about you. So yeah, I'm gonna actually send him an email and see if he can tell me where you live. I bet you his AI won't be redacted.
That's why I publicly pollute the information that's collected on me everywhere. So whatever you get will be maybe right, maybe wrong. Like I have so many aliases, so many different things I do just to muddy the waters. So
a lot of people don't know that Dave had a 4-film stint as James Bond. He was you don't even know, do you?
There is a fact about us, our company, our history, that is flat out wrong. The AI gets wrong all the time.
AI gets shit wrong all the time.
Yeah. do you know what this is? Have I told you the story? I know Johnny knows what this is.
No.
No, it's a whole rabbit hole.
Okay.
We could talk about it at another show.
Yeah, my problem with the AI hallucinations is that it's an asshole about it. So like if it was like, and I think, I'm not sure, but I think this, then okay, like can we train AI to do that? Instead it just tells you, and you're like, it's just daring you to be like, no, it's not. That's not right.
Yeah, this one I'll get an
The
argument.
world is flat.
It's actually whatever. We can talk about it. So there was a time period where Johnny would refer to himself as the co-founder of Sterling and Stone, even though that's not technically true. He was instrumental in a window of time, but it was quoted in Forbes and like a few other like high profile places. So I can't convince AI that I was the founder of Sterling and Stone. They're like, nope.
Why the hell is Forbes quoting me?
I don't know. I think it may have been around the Savannah Bananas time. Weird that Savannah Bananas has come up twice in this, but it was there's a couple of quotes there because I was talking to this guy who he does new like SEO 2.0 like for Reddit is one of his clients, and he was explaining how AI SEO works, and you can actually reverse the way they think about certain things, but it's a whole process, and it's a process I don't really care to go through. Like I don't care that much, but I think it's hilarious that it's the whole nature of truth, right? So like there's the truth, but if another truth is reported enough and in enough places, that becomes the truth according to AI. So it's not even a hallucination. It is, according to it is verifying its facts, but the facts are actually wrong.
So we should really be careful with the nicknames we address each other with on this show, you're saying.
David W. Wright, Daddy. Known as Daddy by most people, more than anything else.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what it said when I entered. It said, there are several David W. Wrights. Do you mean Daddy?
David W. Wright, the author, is also commonly known as Daddy.
Right.
That became his official alias. What was it, Johnny, in 2026?
Yeah, 2020, well, 2024 privately. I don't know that I'm supposed to talk about that. But like, I mean, I heard Daddy a lot.
They should be talking on X and Facebook about how David W. Wright loves to be called Daddy, right?
And I was a cam boy for several years.
Right. I
do think that your disinformation campaigns have been amazing, Dave. Like, because the AI is just going to hear this Daddy thing and be like, whatever. How can I believe anything Daddy says?
All right. Well, so much for getting right to the content.
Yeah, we're getting worse.
You said you were going to introduce the topic, not get to the con. Okay, right. So I just have a piece of advice. This is free for everybody who listens to the show. If you're like looking to get to the meat of every episode, like go listen to another podcast. That's my hack. That's how you get to the meat of this.
Johnny does not care about any of you. Is what he's just basically like. If you're here for the train wreck, water's warm.
I'd be curious if people actually got this far. And this will be a test if they did. If they can leave a comment, whether they come for the content or the bullshit. So
I got another free tip. If you're here for the content,
It is the wrong show.
It's fair. It's not true that I don't care about anybody. I just care about some people more than others.
Wow.
Well,
Well, we're looking for our ideal people.
No, that's fair. Johnny's
Yeah.
looking for a good time, is what.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it says on the bathroom wall.
Hey, can we change this
Right
name
over
of
the
the show
hole?
to Daddy and Johnny Good Time?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't even know if I want to do his show now. All right. So
Pull it up, Dave. You can do
let's
it.
shoehorn this in.
Half-hour bullshit, half-hour content.
So we wanted to talk about characters being more integral to IP than the story itself. And the best example out there, I think, and I could be wrong, I'm sure I'm wrong.
Oh, this is a great example.
Yeah, the best example I personally am familiar with is Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman, or Slippin' Jimmy, first appeared on Breaking Bad, I think in season 2. He was originally written as like a sort of comic character and was only going to be in 4 episodes. And Vince Gilligan is really good about changing his mind on the story when a character like really proves themselves on the screen. I think he had planned to kill Jesse early on as well.
Yeah.
So he's really good at reading the room and figuring out what people want. So at some point in the Breaking Bad series, he decided he wanted to do a spin-off. Before Breaking Bad was even over, he wanted to do something with Bob Odenkirk's character.
Do you remember what your response to this was when I told you the news?
I thought it was stupid as fuck because he was going to do a half-hour comedy.
Yeah, you ranted about it. Like, we were on a call,
laugh track?
and I told you, yeah, you ranted, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. Better Call Saul's a great character. It could be fun. You're like, it won't be good.
And here's the irony: I love Mr. Show with Bob and David Cross. So I know very fucking well if he was involved in a comedy, it would be awesome. But just for that character, I didn't see a half-hour comedy working, and they didn't do it. They did a tragicomedy, I guess you would call it, and it's very similar with a little more humor to Breaking Bad, and I would say in many cases it's better than Breaking Bad, especially since it has my favorite character in it, Mike. So you get to see more of his backstory, and you get some more of the other characters. It is very much a continuation or a prequel of Breaking Bad, but through a slightly different filter.
So different.
What's that? Yeah.
The vibe, like it's elegant in that it feels like the same universe and it feels like the same creator. It does not feel like the same show.
Well, it took me a while to get into Better Call Saul. Like that first, I don't know how long it goes for, but
6
all that
seasons, I
stuff
think.
with his brother, and I could not have given a shit about any of that. I was like,
liked all
get to the
that.
crime. Yeah, I know a lot of people did, but like, I didn't care about the drama at the law firm. I didn't care about the stuff between him and Kim. I didn't care about the stuff
I
with his
love
brother.
the stuff between him and Kim. I thought Kim was such a great character.
She was great later. Like, and she was great. I just didn't care about that dynamic. And it was when they got into the cartel stuff and they started overlapping, that was, with the Breaking Bad stuff. That's when it really
What
got
kept
good
you
for me.
watching? Because that doesn't happen for the first couple of seasons. Is it
No,
just
I
fate for
know.
Vince
I
Gilligan?
think I just hung in there out of grim determination. I mean, I think maybe you guys had talked it up a lot. So
I loved Michael Mando's character. He was just so fucking good on that show. He was also an Orphan Black, and originally from Far Cry 3, the video game.
is that Nacho?
Nacho? Yeah.
His character.
He was so fucking good. He really needs his own thing where he just shines and he's the center of it. I mean, that was pretty close, but it wasn't his show. So anyway, we're talking about this because this is a character that started off as one thing and ended up carrying a completely different thing. And that is very much what you talk about with the whole smarter artist method and IP and thinking of your stories as IP. So can you continue this conversation.
Yeah, I think that I think it's hard to engineer, but I think that you do occasionally have a character that like the characters are just bigger than the story that they inhabit, right? So they become like gravitational franchise or whatever it is starts orbiting around them instead of the other way around. So our best example in the entire company suite, and again, just to show that this can't be engineered, it was the first thing we ever did. I mean, we had Available Darkness, but that was like that was
Our first
prequel,
collaboration.
right? That was our first collaboration. But the first thing where we're like, okay, we're going to market with this new. I mean, we didn't even have the language around it. It wasn't going to market with new IP. It was, hey, dude, I'm going to leave copywriting and consulting. We're going to try to make money on fiction. Do you want to serialize some shit? Like, that was a totally different conversation. And one of our characters was Boricio Wolfe, who was a serial killer. And there was just enough personality in this character. There was enough, I don't know, like, he was distinct in the way that he communicated and thought and kind of moved across the page that he became the gravitational center, enough so that we knew we could do a sequel series with the same character, Tomorrow's Gone, and another series called Boricio's Gone, which comes out next month. You know, we're revisiting the franchise yet again, and it's not the world that we're revisiting, even though it very loosely, you know, is connected. It's the character that allows that to happen, and that's very exciting when you come across a character like that. Like, he's still to this day my favorite character to write. But I remember following up the original Yesterday's Gone. We did White Space, and I did feel like some pressure to, oh my god, I want to have a character that is as magnetic as Boricio. And I totally failed to do that. I think the character work in White Space is actually really strong. I love a lot of characters in there. And the character that I worked the hardest at was Cass. So Cass is, she's flirting with, you know, like drug use, and she has a real damaged past, and she's
more than flirting. She's a full-on addict.
Yeah, okay. She's a junkie. You know, she's a twin, and like I wanted her to be as magnetic as Boricio, and it just didn't happen. She's a great character. Like, I loved writing her. I think people like reading her, but she's not Boricio. So it is the kind of thing that I don't know how well you can engineer it. I think, and actually, Dave, tell me what you think of this, and Johnny, I think that kind of character, it's not up to the author. It's not up to the creator. That character can only exist from audience reception. You can't really engineer it. It's like, okay, another example is like the Joker, right? The Joker is somehow bigger than Batman. In fact, the Joker had a movie that had no Batman, right? Like, the Joker was a big enough force that it could carry its own movie where it explored that character, and, you know, didn't even have the Batman franchise really. And I think that's a rare thing to do. I think there are a lot of big characters that I don't know that you could remove them from their world. So like The Sopranos had Tony Soprano, and Tony Soprano became, like, the show itself is extraordinary, but, you know, Tony became mythology. I think in The Wire you have Omar, right? Like, Omar was like a transcendent character. So would we get these characters without the audience feeding us, and then the showrunners returning to the writer's room and like really playing into that? Or would they be that great anyway?
I think with Boricio specifically, the difference between him and Cass was Boricio is a character that doesn't give a fuck, and a lot of people like that was something for them, like, oh man, I would just love to be able to walk in and tell everyone to fuck off and kick their ass, and, you know, all the bad shit he does. Cass lives within the confines of reality.
There's like a little bit of like wish fulfillment there.
Yeah, Cass is, she's not that anti-hero. She's a very realistic character that's dealing with shit that a lot of people are dealing with in real life. So she's a more relatable character, but she's not a character that I think rises above where people are like, oh, I want to be that character.
Okay, well, what about characters that you wouldn't even necessarily want to be, but they kind of like take over the show that they're on? So this has happened out throughout like television history. Family Ties, right? So Family Ties was not supposed to be the Alex P. Keaton show at all. It was about was it Steve and Elise? Or his parents?
The parents, yeah, I think so.
Steve and Elise Keaton. So it was about Steve and Elise Keaton, like these, you know, hippies who had to like grow up and raise a family. And like that was the conceit of the show. But then all of a sudden, Michael J. Fox was clearly just so popular right away that the show became all about him and everything.
Because he was an over-the-top exaggeration of like a preppy sort of guy, and I think the over-the-top nature is what really seals it.
Yes, but it's not just like I didn't come into this conversation with this perspective, but it got there really fast, and now I don't think I can back down from it. I think that for a character to be larger than life, you have to have. I don't think the creator can create that. Because Alex P. Keaton wasn't written that way, and if another actor had come in, I don't know that it would have become the Alex P. Keaton show. It was Michael J. Fox specifically that made that happen. It was, you know, when we're watching Breaking Bad, and every time Saul comes on, it's just magnetic, right? And so, yes, Vince Gilligan wrote him that way. But Bob Odenkirk, the way that he inhabited that, and then the audience wanting to like see more and responding, gave it external life.
I'm gonna partially disagree with you on that. I think that certainly in the world of film and TV, the actor is bringing something to it that the creator couldn't have planned for. And I also think that in prose, it can get away from you in the way that prose does. Like it creates its own life. We've had characters like that. But I don't know that I would, maybe it's just me. Like, I don't know that I would feel that the audience is necessary. I feel like I would notice that. I feel like I would see it. And maybe this is just partly who I am. But if a character was taking off and was a fan favorite, but it wasn't my favorite, I guess this is different because I don't really think in terms of IP. Like, I don't really use the smarter artist method. But I would not pursue that. It has to be something that it would be interesting to me, but I think that would happen in tandem. Like, I think that I think that feels obvious to me when a character jumps off the page. But I also think we're talking about the difference between characters or actors who steal the show and ones that are worthy of a spin-off. I can't think of any great examples, but I know that there have been characters that I've loved, but they have to stay minor characters. They could not support their own show, but I still feel that they steal the scenes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. And I think to your point, I don't think that if an audience is really identifying with a character, but then you as the creator don't care, it's kind of hard to like nurture that. But with Boricio, it was easy. I mean, Dave and I were like, we loved all the reviews that were talking about how much people love Boricio, and we get emails about Boricio.
Did you know that? Did you feel that about Boricio before you saw the feedback, or was it like the feedback clued you into maybe this character is more than we think he is?
Both. I loved Boricio from the very first sentence when he says beer battered bullshit and his feet hit the hardwood floor, and I just knew who this character was. I loved writing him from moment one. I think Dave thought he was a little over the top and wouldn't really last. That he was a little more like, I don't know, one note. And I
didn't think he was grounded enough, and I do think some of the character work I did, especially in season 2, like fleshed him out a little bit more.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah, Dave made him more human and less comic booky. Like, I made him like, you know, he was like practically a superhero, you know, without superpowers, and he could dodge bullets, do all kinds of this shit. Dave really did make him like hurt, and did add humanity. But then once, like, we both really liked him, and I think what we also liked about him was the collaboration, because like Boricio couldn't really like Dave's never been able to effectively write Boricio on his own, but it's really fun to write him together, to like pass that back and forth. And so we always had that like clay to play in. But then we're seeing the reviews and we're seeing people who are like really into this character, and that just fed it. That meant that he got more scenes, he got more lines, like he got more attention. Just like if it had been a TV show, same thing. You watch the ratings and you're like, okay, well, this character is clearly like landing with the audience, so it needs more time, which is thinking about the character in terms of IP.
I guess I'm wondering if that works together, because the question is, what would happen if those didn't line up? What would happen if the crowd was loving a character that you didn't want to write more and that you didn't think was leaping off the page, or vice versa? What if somebody was leaping off the page for you but wasn't landing with, I mean, I know what I would pick, but I'm curious what would happen if that occurred, or if you're going to line up with the audience.
If the audience was digging something that I was not, I don't think I would give that character more attention. Like I would note it. What I would do is pay more attention when I was with that character. That character probably wouldn't get more scenes, but I would definitely pay attention while I was there, because I know that there's people who are paying more attention to that character. But if there was a character that I didn't, or that I really liked, and that the audience was kind of like rejecting, I would pay attention to that. So, for example, one of the biggest criticisms of me as a storyteller, I've heard this many times. I've heard it from collaborators that I'm working with. I've heard it from reviewers amply. Johnny, you and I both share this. We create unlikable characters. Like, we've heard that a lot. You're like Meyer Dempsey, for example, who is the main protagonist of the first Invasion books. He's a dick, and for both Johnny and I, we like writing, unlikable characters who have to grow, and like assholes are fun to write. And Boricio managed to be an unlikable character who was highly likable, which is a different thing. So I am drawn to writing complicated people who, like, one of my biggest tropes as a storyteller is writing characters who are lying to themselves. Writing characters who see themselves a certain way, but they don't really understand who they are, and they're telling the world and themselves this story of this version that they are, and they have to kind of come to terms with that. And to do an effective arc there, you have to make them kind of unlikable. But then, you get reviews that are like, this character is really unlikable, which is the opposite of creating characters like IP. So I've been on both sides of this. I've created characters that have no chance in hell of becoming IP, and I've created characters that, like are kind of born for it.
I feel like there's so many assholes in the real world today that when you write an asshole character, some people get turned off if they think you're celebrating the asshole rather than criticizing him or holding them up or making them change in some way.
You're totally right, and I have become more conscious of that. Like because I do care about commercial success, and so but I don't feel like it dilutes it. I feel like it gives me a lens. So I do like writing complicated people, but there's no reason to alienate readers, because I can find enjoyment by like shifting the lens a little bit.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, because I've done one spinoff, but I did it for kind of mercenary reasons, and I like what came out of it. So when Fat Vampire was a TV show, and I thought I was going to get a little more attention than I did get, right? Like, it didn't make a big difference. I wrote a spinoff about Reginald's maker. So Reginald is the main hero, the character in Fat Vampire. And so his maker, Maurice, became this 4-book spinoff series. And the idea was, if people like Fat Vampire, people like pile on the Fat Vampire bandwagon, there will be more. And those books were cool. Like, I enjoyed those books. They got way more complicated than I thought. But
wait, your story got more complicated than you thought?
Yeah, that's something that happens with me. Like, it got very involved, especially by the 4th book. That's the main limit on how long my series can be, is because it's going to get more and more complicated. But Maurice in himself is not a terribly interesting character. I think that he does his job, and I think he's interesting in the context of the story, but it's not like he's a standout. He's not Saul.
Yeah, the
So
world was the star there,
the
right?
world was the star, and it was the decision was very simple. Reginald and his girlfriend Nikki were like, their story was told. Like, I didn't want to continue that story. It didn't make sense to tell his story before he was a vampire. That just felt boring to me. And the only one who was really left, who was central, was Maurice, who was already 2,000 years old. So I was like, that gives me space to tell that story. So it was more a matter of facility. Plus, I already knew I wanted to create a spinoff. Who will I make the spinoff of? And that was the one where there was the most juice. But I'm of the opinion that, and we've talked about this before, that I think that the right story, you can make any concept or any character interesting. You can start with a standout like Boricio, or I think you can start with something that's like fine, and then you make it interesting. And the fact that I do love that series so much, and I think it adds a lot of complexity in a good way to that story and that world. But it came out of the opposite of what we're talking about. So it's kind of interesting too. I think you can, I mean, at least in my case, I did do that with this one series. So who knows?
Yeah, Dave and I had a spinoff from our No Justice series, and one of the big criticisms that we got on that spinoff was the cop Mallory. People found her unlikable, and so right away from book number one, they're like, why would you follow this character? Because this character is unlikable. And so I think that is something that I definitely have become more conscious of writing likable characters.
But how are they unlikable? Like, cause that's kind of a criticism that I kind of want to wave away, because like there are unlikable people in the world. And like, you guys are all wetting yourselves over Succession, which I fucking hated, because all of those people I just wanted to stab to death. And it's like, but there's something about that breed of unlikable that works for people. And I feel that that's true of like, Meyer Dempsey's an asshole for a reason, you know? Yes,
but as a consumer, you may hate that, but as a creator, you like it. So Pretty Killer, when we were talking to a showrunner, this is pre-strike, who was going to adapt Pretty Killer into a TV show. And when he met me, being one of the authors of Pretty Killer, he thought I would be English. And the reason he thought I would be English is because the writing in Pretty Killer reminded him so much of Succession. And those are all English writers, because they're all assholes. They're all fucking entitled. They cut each other off. Like they say mean shit. And so, yes, Johnny, you might not like Succession as a show, but you like writing characters who say horrible shit to each other.
Oh, but that's my point, is like, what is the definition of unlikable? Because if somebody's saying that it's unlikable, there's lots of people who are unlikable. Anyway.
I was thinking about Boricio specifically, and what the difference was between him and, somebody that would just not get any audience traction. And I think the difference is when you see the other side, when you see that wound in them, when you can relate in some way, I feel like that takes it to the next level. Then people need a reason to like that character. So if the character is an asshole, but they're trying, or why they're an asshole, you give them a little more leeway, and I think you identify with them a little bit more.
That's a really good point, and we can actually bring this back to Boricio specifically, because do you know what scene I'm going to refer to, Dave?
No.
Mm-hmm. So I think this was season 2, maybe. So it would have been season 2, really early in season 2. And so there'd already been some like reception to Boricio. We knew that he was a character that, readers were connecting with. We knew he was a little over the top. We knew he was a murderer, and, so how do you make him likable? And this was, and I'd written with a lot of abandon for the first couple of years, and, write fast, like see what happens. And this was the first scene where I felt gravity, like there is actual stakes to this. And it was a flashback for Boricio when he was an 8-year-old boy. And and I was like, how do we make him human? How do we give him an origin story? How do we show what his family life was like? How do we show and this is a multiverse story. Before multiverses were cool, Yesterday's Gone was a multiverse story, and we realized that not in season 1. We actually didn't know that until season 2. And,
I did at the end of season 1.
Well, congratulations.
That cliffhanger.
This was like, how do we explore that? And it's like, we're going to have another Boricio at some point. So this is a nature versus nurture situation. He's clearly a genius, and given another branch of life, he would have had a different life. He would have been a different human. He would have like had compassion, but that was taken away from him at a very early age. So at 8 years old, what happened to him? And so that was the first scene where I was like, I can feel how important this needs to be to the character. And hilariously, 12, 13 years later, however long it is ago, when writing the first season of Boricio's Gone, an early reader gave me feedback that was like, yeah, we need a little more bonding with Boricio. And I just returned to that scene. Like I kept, it's probably 80% exactly the same. I just imported it and then like massaged it into like, so it flows, but it's the same scene because there's other scenes too. Like the whole first season is now filled with flashbacks of Boricio becoming Boricio before the Boricio's Gone series starts, like even Yesterday's Gone. So you get to see who he was along the line and how he became this. But I started with that same 8-year-old story because I think that, to your point, Dave, that's absolutely right. If you can humanize a monster, and then the empathy is a bonding agent.
All right. Well, we got to go. But before we wrap, if this conversation gave you something to think about, you won't want to live without the Dispatch. Head over to smarterartist.net/dispatch. Sign up. You'll get 2 things right away: a copy of the Smarter Artist Method and the workbook to get you smarter, faster. We'll see you in your inbox.
Adios, everyone.
They chase the spark, we own the dark. They feed the scroll, while we leave a mark. No tricks, no hacks, just the code they lack. Yeah. We stay on the rails while they fall off the track. Smarter artists never die. Yeah. We don't lay stone for spectacle, don't frame for applause. We build the boring way, with discipline and pause. They expect the penthouse view before the footing is set. A crown without calluses, a win without sweat. The craft is in the mortar, not the hunger for more. Not the facade that cracks with a hollowed out core. You want the trick, it's tedious, it's thankless, it's true. Show up with intention till the structure starts showing you. They go fast, we go far. Paper planes versus iron bars. They chase spikes, we stack days. We build the house that never fades. Let them run, let them fly. Smarter artists never die. Yeah. Yeah. They chase vanity metrics that die at the peak. We pour the slow foundations while they sprint for the streak. We don't rent out retention to whatever blows through. We're setting corner posts for storms they never knew. We're not racing to the ribbon, we're widening the base. Let the footing fully cure before the frame locks in place. Every draft's another course, every session's a beam. We're not chasing momentum, we're constructing the dream. They go fast, we go far. Paper planes versus iron bars. They chase spikes, we stack days. We build the house that never fades. Let them run, let them fly. Smarter artists never die. They'll throw parades while you're still setting the forms. Pop champagne and glass towers while you're bracing for storms. Some nights you wonder if the blueprint's a lie, if the long game's just patience that forgot how to fly. But scars become low bearing when the structure survives. When the fast builds crack open and the slow ones stay alive. We don't ask for permission, we don't wait to be seen. We're drafting our futures in the quiet in between. They go fast, we go far. Paper planes versus iron bars. They chase spikes, we stack days. We build a house that never fades. Let them run, let them fly.